What is going on, you guys? I am D Venom. Thank you guys for joining me here on my YouTube platform called Addiction, Relapse, and Recovery. I am here to update you guys in regard to the last piece of content that I uploaded. And yeah, here we go. So anyway, I made it through. The 10th of this month, I went to my primary doctor's office and I received the next series of shots in regard to getting rid of the syphilis that I caught by being impetuous due to relapse. Anyway, everything went great. I knew what to expect, so I wasn't hyperventilating. I wasn't profusely sweating. I did needed water because it was pretty hot outside, so I was, a tinge parched. So, there was no hot, cold flashes, none of that. They did inject me an inch or two higher than the previous injections due to the fact that I experienced some irritation and a little bit of discomfort. So they figured if they injected me an inch or two higher than the previous injections, that will alleviate a lot of the discomfort and, pain or whatever that I went through. And it worked. The person that gave me the injections were, they were very gentle. I was in good hands, and I thank you, L.L.S. Anyway, next week I go and get the last series of shots, which is the 5th and 6th injections, and I will have completed those series of injections, and I should be syphilis free. After I get those series of injections, I have to get blood work in order to figure out where my titer count is. If my titer count is still elevated, that means I need to continue on with treatment in the form of injections to get rid of this damn syphilis. If my titer count is low, that means that the injections work and I'm syphilis free and I can go on with life and not have to worry about the shit. Anyway, I made it through, you guys, and I will keep you updated in regard to the last series of shots, if my titer count is low, etc., etc. I have relapsed. I will admit that. I think yesterday was the day that I ended up, picking up the pipe and using methamphetamine. It was very short-lived considering the shit is nasty as fuck. And it just had a nasty taste in my mouth, and I just put it away, and I haven't touched it since. Anyway, even through relapse, Source brings very interesting people in our lives for very different reasons. And I went to a store called Aldi here in Arizona, and I, get to Aldi around the evening time. I park in the parking lot. I get out of my car. I go inside like everyone else does to shop. My eyes was drawn to this lady that was in a electronic wheelchair type of thing, and they was grocery shopping. They had their service dog with them, and I can tell that they was lacking mobility and needed help throughout their shopping. It wasn't time for me to be of service at particular moments that they needed help. I was to be of service later. Anyway, myself and the lady get done with our shopping around the same time, and we're in the line getting ready to pay for our stuff, me being in the front of them being in the back of me. Anyway, I put my stuff on a conveyor belt to be rung up, and I put that plastic thing on the conveyor belt to indicate to the person behind me, you can now put your stuff up there. Anyway, I noticed that they needed help, getting their stuff on the conveyor belt. So I offered my services, and, they allowed me to, be of service. Anyway, I felt like it wasn't time for me to leave yet. And I asked if they needed further help or assistance getting their stuff in their vehicle. And they were like, well, let me ring up everything, or let me have everything rung up, and then we'll go from there. So come to find out, they needed some additional assistance getting their stuff in their vehicle. And I was of service. So anyway, I followed them to their car, and I take everything out of the vehicle. I take everything out of the car and put it in the back seat of their vehicle. And I thought that everything was over and done with. I was going to depart and, feel good about my services. They then asked me if I, wanted some money or whatever, and I turned it down. This is not what I do. I'm not spiritually contracted I'm not in this for money. You know what I'm saying? That's not where I get my gratitude from. I get my gratitude from the fact that you gifted me by elevating my spirits, by elevating my vibrations, and just making me feel good about what I did. And that was to be of service because I'm spiritually contracted to do that. Anyway, I thought that after, I turned down the offering or whatever, that was going to be the end of it. They then continued to go on and they then continue to go on to ask me a question, is what the hell I meant to say. And, I allowed them to do that. So they were like, is it okay if I pray with you? And I'm not going to turn down prayer, you know what I mean? Because it's, hell, that's a gift. So I went for it, and we both bowed our heads. They took my hand and we prayed in the Aldi parking lot. And, I looked up a couple of times to see what was going on, around us, and people, they were watching. They seen me being of service to this woman. They seen that I turned down the offering, and, they seen that the gift that the woman gave me was the gift of blessing. And I appreciate the fact that divine timing allowed me to go to Aldi, and meet this woman and be of service. So, even through relapse, I'm still being blessed. Anyway, I talked to my therapist, and we are on a roll in regard to breaking down barriers. It's up to me to break the family cycle in regard to the family curse. I already know that. So there's a lot of weight on my shoulders. But anyway, they have me on my bipolar medication and my ADHD medication, and I'm happy with that. So I started my regimen maybe a couple of days ago, and I'm hoping that the medication will work. They have to give me blood work in order to start me on another medication, which is a blocker due to the cravings of methamphetamine. They had me on Wellbutrin a while back, but it worked for a while and it didn't work after so long. They feel like this medication will be very beneficial once I start it. They just need to get my blood work to see if there's any methamphetamine in my system, and if there is, what levels is it at, and what other levels they need to check. And if everything is fine, I allege that I will be starting this particular medication. So I'm still in the fight in regard to a better or a new well, let me take that back. I'm still in the fight in regard to my sobriety. Just put it that way. I'm never going to give up that fight. And I'm thankful that I have this particular team on my side in regard to my psychiatrist and my therapist, because now we can figure out why I'm doing certain things. Where did addiction come from? What am I trying to what void am I trying to fill? You know what I'm saying? I get to finally get answers to some of the questions that I think are holding me back and keeping me locked in addiction. Just put it that way. So walls are being broken, barriers are being, torn down, and I'm finally going to be getting the answers that I need in order to move on with life addiction free. Just put it that way. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to end this video, but I just wanted to catch y'all up to speed in regard to, what has been going on with, my life and what has been going on since those last series of shots and whatever else the case may be. I'm alive. I made it through. Anyway, thank you guys for supporting the platform and being there for me, especially through my times of addiction. It's when I need you guys the most, or it's when I need your energy the most. Yeah, thank you guys. Again, I'm D Venom. This is Addiction, Relapse, and Recovery. And until my next upload, you guys have a beautiful day, evening, and or night. And namaste.